My name is Henry Garrett. I'm a Senior Associate of the Compensation Law Department at Atwood Marshall Lawyers. Today I'm joined by my colleague Yaz. So Yaz, it's October, and you know that means that it is National WorkSafe Month in Australia. I did some research before we came on, and I saw that as of today, 116 Australians had been fatally injured whilst at work for this year. So I think we've acknowledged that the numbers are going up each year. And how do you think representing family members for claims made where someone is fatally injured, how do you think that's different than just your regular work cover claim?
The difference has been that now that these poor families have lost their loved ones, they're now having to think, what am I supposed to do now when that particular, say, that could have been the breadwinner of their family. There are claims that are available to these individuals to think about, okay, for funeral expenses, how they're going to survive. They've got young families to look after. So for them particularly, there's avenues that they can look into that can potentially help them.
Whilst they're the most difficult claims to run, I think they can be the most rewarding as well because you're um, changing the lives for grieving family members in circumstances where they've lost a loved one. But of course, that comes with a lot of responsibility, which I'm sure you don't take lightly. It's whenever you're dealing with a fatal accident or workplace injury, I think there's just that added responsibility as us, as their solicitors.
Yeah, definitely. Not only obviously you need to think about what has happened, you need to think about obviously what they're dealing with. They have so much going on in them in on their plate. They're thinking about ongoing expenses, the funeral, they're thinking about how I'm going to pay the next bill. They're not coping themselves. So you not only are you their solicitor, but you're almost their comforter as well to making sure that this is what we're dealing with. If we're taking care of the claim, you worry about your family, but we'll obviously look into how we can assist you moving forward. But what would you say in terms of when you are faced with somebody who's lost their loved one, what would you say to them is the best thing that they need to do to protect themselves and their family moving forward?
Um, well, it's first of all to seek legal advice as early as possible. As you know, they're complicated claims. I don't think many lawyers in the industry have fully wrapped their head around the intricacies of a fatal claim. But as you know, you have to act fast as well. You've got 6 months to lodge your claim through work cover, which in turn will allow them or allow the grieving family to seek the benefit of that death benefit through the work cover provisions. But off the back of that, there's a dependency claim that can be made on behalf of those dependents. It's a shame, really. I think it's a misconception when people lodge a work cover claim that they trust work cover to do the right thing by them and give them the information that they need. But often they're doing the polar opposite, as you've experienced. They withhold information from unrepresented claimants or injured people on purpose, knowing that it will impact their entitlement to claim proper compensation down the track, which I think is just a joke.
In terms of undervaluing someone's claim, what we've experienced, you can comment on as well, is that unfortunately most people do believe that they can run these claims on their own, particularly claims not necessarily workers' compensation claims, but motor vehicle accident claims where people feel that they can run their own claims. Unfortunately, that they're then met with insurers who then feel that someone's vulnerable, and when they're vulnerable, they make quick decisions. They don't think their options through, and then from there, then they undersettle their claim because they think that's the best they can get. When what we experience in most cases is that we can double the compensation purely because we understand the complexities of their matter, which they may not be privy to at that time. But there's so much more that we can do, obtain the evidence and making sure that we can get them the compensation that they deserve, because our job is to protect their future when insurers, they don't care.
I was talking to someone last Friday where he was back at work without telling me. He was limping around, and I immediately just told him, look, you need to go straight to your GP. You need to report the difficulties that you're having on this suitable duties plan that's been enforced by work cover. And that immediately puts them on notice to either reduce your duties or put you back on complete benefits. The amount of people that don't know they have that right to question work cover or question their GP who's been strong armed by work cover to return to work prematurely is, I mean, I've experienced that, you know, countless times. But clients don't want to bother us or, you know, bother us with information that they don't think is important, which again is another message to any people out there who do have a lawyer. Don't be afraid to pick up the phone. Like, the amount of times that clients suffer in silence and go back to work or aren't getting proper treatment and too afraid to pick up the phone, even for people who haven't got a lawyer at all. I feel like we're pretty approachable, aren't we, Yasmin?
I like to say so.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
that I'm your neighbour in the office, but you're always friendly
Yeah,
to offer a
exactly.
smile here and there.
Yeah.
But even just adding on to what you just said before, unfortunately, I have countless experiences where clients feel the need not to share certain information. But what I tell my clients is that if there is something in your claim that comes across for if it's pre-existing injuries or there's something that you're worried about, it's best to tell me. And you'd experience that as well. Is that if we know that, we can protect your claim. There's things that we can do, there's measures we can take to ensure that we can use the information to better your claim in the future, as opposed to trying to pick up where we left off, or trying to, I guess, in a way, to recover from something that may be catastrophic to the claim. But if I'm aware of it, I can take the steps I need to protect your claim in the future. And that's what you get a lawyer for, is to worry about all the legal side of things, as opposed to, oh, if I don't tell them, then potentially, it will just stay hidden. I can assure you, the other side will find out. Let me know first.
So I think, we've seen some dirty tactics along the way, from work cover to undersettled claims and take advantage of people. Um, what do you first do when you pick up a claim file from work cover and you start looking through the communications that they've had with the client? Is it hard not to just pick up the phone and yell at the claims manager?
It is.
Yeah.
It can be really difficult because you see this trail where the ending is just trying to wrap them up very quickly, when they may still be in a situation where they need ongoing treatment, but yet they're quick to deny ongoing treatment because they have some type of reason why it's not claim related. And then most clients at the time will then think, oh, well, okay, well, this is obviously the evidence. I'll hurry back to work, or I'll just finalize the claim. But what I actually find, when most people, before they are either at the end of their claim or their claim's been closed, is a lot of people don't realize that there's actually an additional step that most individuals will not get through to, because one, they don't have legal representation who's looking out for certain options that are available to them. For example, the permanent impairment assessment. So many people don't even get the opportunity. They get told that their claim is going to be finalized because either one, it's got to a certain time frame, or they've gone back to work, and they kind of just go along with their lives. And yet they're still in pain. They still can't do certain things that they used to be able to do. Their life has completely turned around from, in a sense of where their future was going. And it could be as simple as realizing that they could get assessment to understand they may potentially get lump sum compensation, but without having a lawyer involved, they could miss that opportunity. A lot of people don't realize they have options.
Well, thank you very much for joining today, Yasmin. I think the National WorkSafe Month is an initiative that is close to us, being solicitors in personal injury, but I think our listeners can really get something out of today. Do you agree?
Definitely. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for your time and for everyone listening.